I'd say the medium is found object. The process is one of intervention. The works are necessarily simple, but also very complex if you're willing to invest in understanding what these symbols or what the architecture of the work is. But we've got some skewed senses of value in our society, and packaging being one of them. You know, one of my bugbears, really. The whole illusion of value. You know, to package it, and you eat it, you throw it away, and all of that. I mean, it's a very heightened and well thought through industry. But my goodness, it's the legacy of it is so unnecessary. You know, one man's trash is another man's treasure in a way. So I was specifically looking to intervene with found or valueless object to kind of change people's perceptions. Hoping, I guess, naively that we could get the idea of that there is no waste, that everything has a use or can be reused or recycled if you thought about it. You know, in nature there is no waste. The effect that it has on the audience, I think, is my greatest ambition. If I had to just sew it up, that's what I try and do with my art, is be able to allow people to see something from a different perspective. I don't necessarily comment on any one specific challenge or crisis. I'm trying to critique the Western view of possession, the language of possession, taking a photograph, and moving from the I back to the we. Those who are extremely advanced are finding themselves very lonely and disconnected from the community, disconnected from those that they've stood on to get to where the dizzying heights of success where they've got to. The work that really made this so visual for me was Zodiac. This, the appropriation of found object in the life raft and the recycled motor oil, and then the reflection of the emerging light out of that. I think that's what changed it as well. That one work changed it from me. Knowing that the people that you're and the industries that are needing to change are the ones who are sitting in the pound seats at the moment. You know, the cheap fuel, as an example, is only cheap because you're not picking up the cost that your grandchildren will be picking up. You know, so sustainability and eco art, I think, is zeitgeist. It's consciousness, because it's a way of talking about all of the background mechanics of how we've got to this crisis, and how we need to desperately change that and formulate ideas of sustainability. We're in the most exciting place for change because we have no option. You know, we're now in the boiling frog syndrome. We now are at that point. We know what is necessary to change our environment, to change our living conditions, but who's willing to pay for that? You know, everyone wants change, but no one wants to change. Perhaps the crisis is necessary to create the pressure to push us into the next paradigm. The use of the star tetrahedron is because metaphorically it has 16 different directions, and each of those opposite directions kind of all are forced to meet at the middle to hold the whole star together. So, you know, not one point is the dominant point. You know, we might have a sense of up and down and top and bottom, but in space there is no north and south. You know, it's multi-directional. Just depends on who calls himself, the king of the castle. Yeah. I don't know so much about whether it's me finding these objects or it's them finding me to talk through. I feel that an artist is on the meniscus of consciousness. We are picking up things like a dance. You feel the rhythm, we're feeling something, and we're metabolizing all of that, creating something often visual, and those ideas start instilling, and these rivers that consciousness does get down to mass culture, and that's how the change happens, and can happen quite quickly. Actually, so we as artists have a responsibility to take that consciousness and metabolize it for popular culture. It's the full cycle and completion of us coming to sharing, being a lot more humble, and in that space, in a space of respect and inquiry, amazing things happen. None of what I'm saying is an answer. It's mostly inquiry. It's mostly questions, but the question is the first step towards an answer. At the end of it all, it's about relationships. It's one person's view and shared with another, not one person's view over another or at the expense of another. It's activism in that it's creating change. Hard questions, will provoke hopefully the right kind of temperature, not an explosive one, but certainly the kind of temperature that's going to create a chemical change. Because putting our arms up and just saying, okay, we're stuffed, is actually not a choice I'm willing to make. While I've got time on this earth, I'd like to put that all into finding some sort of solution. It's what makes it interesting. It's what makes it exciting.